So give them, start small, give them time to plan and adjust, and that's on the demand side. More efficiency, some conservation, and then on the supply side, we ramp up wind and solar, and it's just as cheap. Right now, wind and solar are almost competitive. What you find in the energy industry, it takes 20 years to get an idea from the lab to commercialization, and it takes another 25 years to get 1% market share globally. Until you get about 1% market share, you can't scale up. Okay, you're still deploying, learning, redeploying, learning, and you're going through that process. Both wind and solar are at the stage where they're just below 1% globally. They're really ready to scale up. It shouldn't be any more expensive. I'm not an economist. I have read a lot of economics. The economists that I listen to tell me it will cost no more to go to alternative energy and to do the efficiency and conservation between now and 2050 than it will to upgrade our current fossil fuel infrastructure. We're going to have to make investments one way or another. We're going to spend money one way or another. You're going to pay energy bills. It's not a free lunch, but it should not be that much more expensive, especially if you start small and ramp it up. You're just transitioning. So, do I have all the answers? No. Is that a perfect answer? No. I know this isn't going to shock the system. I'm comfortable on that. This is not going to put people out of business. They're going to change their energy source.
Now, isn't the dividend the key that will ease the shock? Because if the dividend's coming back to the people, then they have more money to make investments into their own home.
And that's what appeals to conservatives, which is they say, well, this will, thank you, because the conservative argument is this: we can't do this because we can't put a tax, quote, on carbon because it'll kill the economy, kill jobs, kill the recovery. That's their line. And the response is exactly what this gentleman said. Show me how a revenue-neutral carbon tax that doesn't take one nickel out of consumers' hands, not a nickel. In fact, it puts more nickels in the lower end where they're going to spend it. How does that kill jobs? How does that kill the economy? We're not taking a nickel out of the economy. So, and there is no answer to that. We're not killing jobs.
I think giving a dividend back to people gets them the idea that all the resources that we have on this planet are shared. And that we have, like, for example, the air, like you said, the atmosphere is the commons. Okay, we all have if that's a commons, we all use that.
Yeah.
Then we all are invested and we all need to get up, because I think it would have a different, people might have a different attitude then about the use of the pollution in our planet, because
let me say, when we put together,
it would change, and then it would result in changing their behavior, their attitude first, then their behavior later.
and the tax sells itself in one sense that this is not me. Whoops, I skipped the one I wanted. Every chief economist, I'm not saying, just so you see this list, these are the chief economists, every president since Jimmy Carter. They have all endorsed a carbon tax.
Yeah.
This isn't me saying it's a good idea.
And I think branding is very important. When you talk about a tax, you brand it as a tax.
Well, I call it a tax cut.
Yeah, but, okay, I mean, when you're talking with Republicans, that's probably good, but when you're talking to the general public, I think, like he said, a fee, branding it as a fee, you brand it. Now, the Republicans are really good at branding things.
Yes.
So I think when we're doing stuff, we need to brand it right.
And
so that
we have these discussions all the time among ourselves. What's the best way to say it to what audience?
Yeah.
And I do not run away from the word tax. I'm not afraid of it a bit. My friends tell me, we can't use that word, we've got to be careful. I say nonsense.
Okay, I've got to interrupt there because we take all taxes off of labor. And there should be no tax on new equipment. If you put in new solar panels, you shouldn't be taxed on those things. We shouldn't have a sales tax. We shouldn't have a tax on buildings. We shouldn't have a tax on tools.
Time out.
But full.
Okay,
But then,
you win.
then the other half.
Call it a fee. Call it whatever.
Then the other half is full costing of the resources, of pollution, of the space you take up, of harbor space. So there's land and labor, and there's cost and benefit. So if you totally describe it and pure economic terms, you're charging a cost for polluting or for using up city land space